ready. Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions Monday night, which means it's Podium 1 race night. The Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships have certainly produced some incredible racing over the course of this season, and we're here at an iconic track for this particular round of the season. Road Atlanta playing host to round 7 of this season. And in the background, Daniel Zippy Salmon is celebrating because he loves this track more than he loves life, evidently. My name is Reese Gardner. And, well, we are here on the Pit Road Productions stream, ready to bring you what should be a very interesting couple of races. TCR and GT4 coming up first, followed by the GT3, Zippy. It's a double dose of Road Atlanta, which you are ecstatic about.
Absolutely. This is like number one on the Princess approved track list. I've got to make my way over to this venue, certainly at some point in real life. But indeed, Motorsport's going to be the first venue that you guys will recognize. Because honestly, who here has been to Cadwell Park or indeed Brands Hatch, and who indeed cares? It's not one of the most popular tracks. But certainly, we're going to be here today at Road Atlanta. And honestly, an absolutely phenomenal circuit based out in Georgia. And I've got to say, certainly actually home not far away from Finnegan. From Roadkill, in case you didn't know, he lives out in Georgia as well. But certainly, I'm looking forward to it. We've got 2 races today, TCRs and GT4s sharing the track. Before we head over to the GT3s, and I've got to say, it's looking like it's going to be a good day. We're seeing 17 cars taken to the grid potentially for this first race of the day.
Yeah, excellent turnout for the TCR and GT4 fields. It's been traditionally a little bit thinner than the GT3s, but looks like a few drivers coming back from earlier in the season and potentially some new faces joining us as well. It'll be interesting to see how they all stack up against each other. But for the moment, I think a look at where we've been and where we're going is in order. We started off the season in January at Sebring with Detroit Belle Isle playing host to round 2. We hopped across to Europe, went to Misano and Imola for a double in Italy before Long Beach at round 5 on the 16th of February. Going across to last week's round at Daytona, and Road Atlanta playing host to this round, of course. We're going to my neck of the woods, Adelaide, next week. Miami and Indianapolis are going to end off the season. A very nice schedule indeed. A wide variety of great circuits to test the mettle of these drivers. And well, thinking about Road Atlanta and how it's going to mix things up in the TCRs and GT4s, you know, a bit less downforce, a bit more mechanical grip is required. So I think they're going to be trying their best to get rotation from the setup, what little they can, through adjusting the brake bias, Zippy. This is a fixed series championship after all.
Yeah, certainly myself, I'm a little bit unsure which cars I'd want to drive in this. Certainly the TCRs can be a hell of a lot of fun, but myself, I think I'd be more inclined for the GT4, specifically the Cayman. I'd want that bit of rotation, but certainly in some parts of the course, I do feel it could be a little bit haphazard. Certainly it's known to have the back end want to overtake the front, but you know what we should do, Reese? Say a huge thank you to our sponsors.
Absolutely. Returning sponsor from last season, Carblet, offers a line of premium canned cocktails designed for drinkers who refuse to compromise on flavor or fitness goals. These ready-to-drink options featuring vodka, rum, and tequila bases for classic drinks like margaritas and mojitos are built on a simple promise: bold flavor with zero compromises. Every 12-ounce can is 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, and just 100 calories.
Well, I've definitely got to try some of that stuff, but indeed, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in Nova Scotia, This is something that you're going to have to have thought about. Indeed, Nixon Power, a new series sponsor, is headquartered in Brentwood, Tennessee, and focuses exclusively on the power generation marketplace. They provide industrial, residential, and marine generators, complemented by an aftermarket team that delivers premium technical services and parts support. Ladies and gentlemen, as much as I love sim racing, you gotta have the juice for the squeeze. And if you need a generator, by all means, check out Nixon Power.
If you want something to provide that firepower, you should check out iRacing, a fast-growing brand making high-performance sim racing hardware for PC and console, VR, and flight simulation. Known for affordable, powerful, direct-drive wheelbases, modular wheels, and pedals, Moza offers a full automotive-engineered ecosystem from beginner bundles to high-end setups, including durable, realistic equipment like steering wheels, digital dashes, and flight simulation gear. My next hardware purchase is probably going to be from iRacing. Make sure to check them out.
Oh, absolutely, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to get myself some of that goodies. Especially, I do want to get that truck wheel and indeed start doing a bit of truck simulating. But before we get to that, ladies and gentlemen, Speed Designs, located in Phoenix, Arizona. They specialize in custom helmet painting, providing unique, modern, and high-speed designs to drivers across the globe, including those in Formula One, IMSA, Pro Karting, NASCAR, and dirt track racing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watched any form of motor racing, the odds are you've seen some of Darwin's work. By all means, check out Speed Designs if you're in the market.
Indeed, Darwin Hanson, one of our league administrators here as well at Podium 1, I believe. But we should, of course, give the huge thanks to Podium 1 themselves, a Nashville, Tennessee-based builder of turnkey racing and flight simulator systems. They offer premium, ready-to-use rigs that integrate high-end components such as Fanatec, Azatek, and Cubic motion systems to meet the needs of serious racers and professional training environments. Make sure to check out Podium 1, especially if you're located in the Nashville area. They, along with all of our other partners and supporters, are responsible for this league and for bringing you the show today here on Pit Road Productions. So, the TCRs and the GT4s coming up to race first, Zippy. Let's have a look at where they are standing in the standings. I think it's championship time.
It is indeed. Looking here at the GT4 field, Doug Sorrentino currently in the lead with 333 points, just 14 points clear of Amrit Bastrala, who's actually currently leading qualifying by just almost 3/10 of a second, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, we're going to see these guys battle again. Maxwell Budd, he's there in third, just 8 points behind. He keeps getting himself on the podium, but not quite been able to have the pace to get a race win. Piers Fox, he's been there. He's been in the mix. 296 points is where he stands, with Tommy Polte rounding out your top 5. Well, look at that.
Yeah, very close.
1 point between himself and Dustin Warren as well. Tied Joshua Travis and Sean Phillips. This is getting really good. Again, look further down. Chris Usel and Jack Minter, 1 point between them. Fantastic stuff. Sorry, that's even more battles going on than I realized. Ladies and gentlemen, TCRs with Reese Gardner.
Very close in GT4s. It's a little bit more spaced out in TCR, but still some battles worth talking about. Huffy Sierra leading the championship by 18 points from Michael Pacheco. Harvey has had the most wins this season. Drew Martin in third place, with Andrew Garov and Quinn Manders rounding out your top 5, and Manders has a battle on his hands with Scott Laurenti. CJ Conklin, our big guy at Podium 1, is certainly going to try and make up the 20-point deficit that he has to Laurenti, with Sauter, Jason Bush, and Simon Cartier rounding out those standings there. And we have a few new names for this particular race, as I mentioned, one of them being in TCR. I think he might have competed earlier in the season, I'm not entirely sure, but Nate Orlovsky is on track in the Honda. Good to see another name to add to the TCR field, as the checkered flag has just flown in qualifying. We are still going to see the end of the hot laps from these drivers. Chris Schosler and Jack Minter currently setting times in the middle of the TCR field. they will need some improvements by a couple of seconds at least to get ahead of the TCRs on lap time, but they should be gridded with the rest of their class. There's Chris making his way through the final chicane. A lovely circuit here at Road Atlanta, one that you're certainly familiar with, Zippy.
Oh, yes.
But it being the end of qualifying, unfortunately, I don't think we'll have time to have a full onboard lap. Checkered flag for Chris, and it looks like he hasn't made an improvement on that lap, but Jack Minter certainly has. About just under a tenth of a second slower than Javi Sierra, who's taken pole position in our TCR class.
Well, absolutely fantastic stuff. And what I can tell you as well, we are going to have somebody new in race control for the GT3. I believe Doug Sorrentino is going to be stepping into that role as well. So looking forward to that. I have a feeling he's not, but certainly a huge thank you there to Sorrentino for indeed stepping up and taking that role. CJ is going to be doing race control here, though, for the TCRs and indeed the GT4 field.
Yep, that he is. Just counting down the seconds now to the end of the session. Got a couple more cars out on track. Scheusler, I think, is just getting some extra track time in, and he is basically the only car out on track at the moment. We have morning conditions in sim at the moment, just past 8:30 a.m. in sim time. And in virtual Georgia, the temperature is looking reasonable. 19 degrees Celsius track temperature, as the sun has yet to get too high in the sky. And air temperature, as things stand, looks to be around 19 Celsius as well. So nice cool conditions to start things off for today's racing. Time to go through the grid in just a few seconds here, and it's going to be Amrit Vestrala who takes pole position for this round in the GT4s. Doug Sorrentino, the championship leader, will start alongside him on the front row. Maxwell Budd and Pierce Fox third and fourth, with Tommy Polte and Joshua Travis in fifth and sixth. Sean Phillips, Jack Minter, and Chris Scheusler make it 9 cars in our GT4s.
Having a look here at the TCR field, Javi Sierra is going to take to the front of the pack yet again, with Scott Laurenti alongside in second. Moving back though, Michael Pacheco, he's there in third with Andrew Garov in fourth. Drew Martin takes fifth with CJ Conklin, the man himself, the legend indeed, there in sixth, with Quinn Manders in seventh, and indeed Nate Lorowski showing interestingly placed in the grid. I have a feeling why that is though, so bear with me, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, indeed. Nate should be the fifth place starter in the TCRs from what I can see. No, hang on a minute, the grid got all messed up for me. Yeah, actually, hang on. He is starting fifth as they pull away behind the pace car. So now we'll find our way around the formation lap. There'll be lots of space given between the classes, but I think that space will rapidly be made up in just a few laps. We've got a 30-minute race ahead of us. No pit stop required for the GT4 class, but the TCR class has usually had to take a pit stop at every round so far, so we're expecting them to come in for a splash of fuel. There is the TCR grid, as it should be.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I figured that out. It's because he hasn't indeed been present for a round, so while he was lit up the right colour, he didn't need to be on the standing, so certainly that is good stuff indeed, ladies and gentlemen. But definitely, this is a round I've been looking forward to. If ever I was going to dip out the booth and go out on the track, ladies and gentlemen, this would 100% be it. And certainly, on occasion, that has been known to happen, much to the chaos of the race that then unfolds. But certainly, I'm looking forward to it here at Road Atlanta, and I have a feeling we may even see a little bit of rain tonight as well.
Yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. Potentially some rain for the GT3 race later on tonight. 0% chance of rain from what I can see for this particular event, but I think that just no matter the conditions, Road Atlanta is a track that always throws up an exciting race. Plenty of overtaking opportunities, particularly at the end of this back straight. The 10A and 10B chicane at the end of the lap is the prime overtaking spot. Whether or not you'll be able to get the slipstream out of turn 7, though, remains to be seen. traction is incredibly important around this place, as is mid-corner speed, as is just about every single aspect of going fast.
Absolutely, indeed. You got to make sure you really capitalize on your exit speed. Certainly, it's very easy to throw away that back straight, and indeed, the draft's going to be a huge thing in play as well here today, as we're currently getting ready to get this race underway, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, I gotta say, between Amrit Vestrala and Doug Sorrentino, I'm not really sure who to call it. Maxwell Budd himself and Pierce Fox. I wonder if these guys can maybe challenge and potentially get a race win here today at Road Atlanta.
That is the question. Amrit Vestrala puts the power down and the 5-litre V8 of his Mustang sings across the line. The green flag flies. Doug Sorrentino already flashing the headlights. He's making his intentions clear on Amrit Vestrala. A tighter line into turn 1, and the field is away for GT4. It's looking like a nice clean start with our top 4 starting to break away already.
Whoa.
Meanwhile, in the TCRs, Harvey Sierra has gotten a huge jump on the rest of the field. Potentially some miscommunication in the midst of our TCRs, but a clean start regardless. On board with Maxwell Budd coming out of turn 5. Almost time for the back stretch here. Looked like a clean run for everyone through the S's.
Yeah, well, almost a clean run. Looks like something's happened with Scott Laurenti there on the first lap, so I have to take a picture of that in just a few short moments. There you see Maxwell Budd. He's right there. He's close. He's behind the 69 AMG, but is he going to be able to capitalize on that? Again, we're seeing it's the Mustang, 2 Mercedes, and indeed a Porsche vying for the lead of this race.
Yes, here's where the slipstream kicks in, and the Mustang is, I think, a little bit better in a straight line than the rest of the GT4 class, so Amrit Vestrala has the luxury of being able to power his way along the straight there. Doug Sorrentino barely making up any time down the straight as Jack Minter appears to have gotten a mechanical black flag. There's been a crash for the number 325 in the Porsche, and oh dear, that rear end does not look like it's up to code.
Yeah, it appears to be a bit more of a boxed end at this point, really. But let's take a look here and find out exactly what happened to him.
Yes, we may have to find out what happened to Scott Laurenti as well in the meantime. So Minter on the way into turn 6. Oh, that's the rear end going, and heavy contact with the concrete. No tire bundles out there, so some massive damage for Jack Minter. Meanwhile, this is the TCR start. Harvey Sierra did go early. Unfortunately, Laurenti seems to have turned in on Michael Pacheco there at the final chicane. I'm not entirely sure what the communication was there.
Well, that might also explain why the start got a little bit of a spread here, but it looks like we've got a battle happening right here for people.
Oh, Vestrala! Vestrala's towed back to the pits.
Oh dear.
Our pole sitter is out with no front end on his car in pit lane. Oh no, is this a solo error? He caught the curb out of turn 4 and straight into the barrier. Oh my goodness, how things can go wrong so quickly.
That is definitely unfortunate there, as Amrit Vestrala pretty much relegated to the back of that pack. Indeed, we've got battles happening throughout, ladies and gentlemen. As here we have Joshua Travis trying to hold on, Tommy Polte and Sean Phillips duking it out behind. It's Cayman versus Mustang, and on this occasion, the Porsche wins. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, well, actually saying that TCRs now, we've got Michael Pacheco going at it with Andrew Gurov.
Yeah, Andrew making the move on Michael Pacheco in the opening laps. And Pacheco, he's a bit deep there through 10B. Nate Orlowski might just be able to get the run on him coming through the final couple of corners. The TCRs, of course, take some time to heat their tires up, as do the GT4s, but the TCRs are a little bit more on the sketchy side, I would imagine, being front-wheel drive. The rear end has to be quite loose in order to get rotation, and when the tires are still cold, that means that they are quite snappy. Missing the curb at turn 3, that's not the ideal line for Michael Pacheco, but he will stay ahead of Orlowski for the moment. Drew Martin is starting to gain some time on these guys as they come through the S's.
Yeah, certainly I wouldn't rule out Drew Martin by any means at all. Certainly it looks like we've got a wicked battle happening here in the TCR. As you see Drew Martin right there. He's in the slipstream, but is it going to be enough? Certainly he needs to really focus on his exit here, making his way into the back straight. This could be a golden opportunity. We could see 3 wide heading down to 9A, 9B. Was it 10A?
Yeah, 10A, 10B.
Getting confused with AMP here.
Yeah, yeah. I always get confused with turn numbers on North American circuits because particularly in the United States, they tend to use marshal posts to number corners, which sometimes results in the track having more or less corners than it actually seems to have looking at a map. No moves for position. In that TCR battle. Looks like everyone in the class giving each other a good amount of space for the moment, but it is on for second place here in the GT4 class with Amit Vestrala out of the picture. Pierce Fox has made his way past Maxwell Budd for P2, and question is, will he be able to catch up to Doug Sorrentino, who now has the luxury of a clear track ahead of him in the fastest lap of the race so far?
Yeah, certainly I do have to wonder, can Maxwell Budd and Pierce Fox work together in hopes of getting the lead? We've not really seen too much of it. Saying that, Jack Minter's still with that meatball flag, ladies and gentlemen, or indeed he's had another incident. We'll have to double check. Indeed, he has had another incident, so certainly not the race that Jack Minter was looking for today. The Cayman deciding to snap back indeed, but Maxwell Budd there, not yet making a move. I do wonder though, is he going to want to work with Pierce Fox, or is he just going to duke it out for P2?
This is the question. Doug Sorrentino has had a pace advantage over these guys pretty much all season, and you can see how much the gap has increased for the lead already, with Sorrentino bringing the fastest lap down to a 125.3. Very nicely done indeed. But yeah, at the moment, I think the race is between Fox and Budd. They might be able to mount a challenge if Sorrentino makes a couple of mistakes, which isn't outside the realms of possibility. But if I was them, I'd see Sorrentino streaking away and think, okay, now my priorities are shifting. I'm going to have to try and focus on the fight for second.
Yeah, certainly GT4 is not something we see the bump draft too often. As Pierce Fox runs a little wide, that's going to be an off-track for him. But indeed, one of the reasons I love about this gyro camera angle is that you get to see the curvature of the track. You can see like there you go, right there. Just you go over the curves, a little bit of the camber change. I do find that quite enjoyable. And indeed, look at the gap there. Pierce Fox now 0.3 of a second ahead.
This looks like it might be a slipstream momentum thing for Maxwell Budd here. Down the long back straight, you see the Merc creeping ever closer to the Porky Pie, as it were. Mercedes and Porsche, very common in GT4 fields on iRacing. But looks like whatever gap was made up, Pierce Fox is going to maintain it on the way out of the final couple of corners. There's also been a small change in the TCR running order. Andrew Garrow falling behind Michael Pacheco, so a nice change for the third place there.
Let's take a look at the replay exit. It looks like Andrew had a little bit of an off track. Indeed, he did on the exit at 10B, and that's going to give Michael Pacheco the opportunity there to absolutely sneak on by, but not quite enough there for Nate Orolski.
Yes, so it looked like Pacheco lost out a bit on the previous lap, but very easily gaining it back. Whoa. But the battle is far from over. Andrew Garov is starting to mount an attack again here. Honda versus Audi is going to be quite interesting. The change for second place in GT4, meanwhile, I just saw Maxwell Budd and Pierce Fox trade spots there.
These guys just, every time I go and watch somebody else, I swear it's intentional. I listen to the broadcast and just like, oh, they're not looking, boys. Whoop. Whip one around. I gotta say fair play to you guys. We'll take a look at the replay here in just a second. But before we do, because I know as soon as I do, let's leave that on hold for a minute. Who's Harry Sierra playing? He's trying to take on Chris Scheusler. And indeed, I think he's going to get it done.
Yeah, certainly will. The GT4s have slightly higher straight line speed than the TCRs, so might be able to get it back on the straight. But yep, there is the Mercedes and Maxwell Budd in second place on Pierce Fox. It happened on the exit of turn 5. Pierce Fox ran a little bit wide, battling going on in the TCR pack. Meanwhile, seems like Garov has now fallen behind Nate Orlowski, and Nate is doing quite well at the moment here. This Honda trio behind the Audi of Pacheco, certainly where the battling's at.
All right, let's do a little bit of a catch-up here on some replays and indeed find out how Maxwell Budd managed to make his way past Pierce Fox.
So the exit of turn 5 is a really crucial spot here. You can't run too far beyond the curb. That's exactly what Pierce Fox did, and Maxwell Budd, all he had to do was stay tight on the way out and duly take the position into turn 6. Very nicely done. Meanwhile, Orlowski making his way past Garov on the way into turn 3, which isn't usually a clear passing opportunity, but a poor run out of turn 1 from the number 14 got it done there. And now we'll see those Hondas continue to duke it out on this lap. Meanwhile, Scott Laurenti, who, as we mentioned, fell back at the end of the formation lap, is on a pretty steady recovery up behind Quinn Manders. But, that's a bit of a slide there.
Yeah.
That was very loose through turn 1. Oh boy, he's pushing hard in these pretty cold conditions, honestly.
I think Kirby had the same reaction we did looking at the side of that Honda Civic, but indeed, let's have a look here at Nate Lorowski, because indeed, this free pack of Hondas have really been duking out pretty much the entire race. Andrew Garov definitely having a few sitting routes there. Are we going to see a move here on the inside from Drew Martin? And again, Garov's gone wide, and it's going to be the opportunity here for Drew Martin as they go side by side, making their way down the back straight.
Very interesting stuff, but it looks like Garov is going to not lose out too much. Slips into the slipstream of Drew Martin, and so he'll get some straight line speed back and not lose out as much as I thought he would. Half a look. Yep, ever so slight. The racing in TCR has always been a bit touch and go for moves. Half the time, you expect them to go for a pass, and they do make up lots of time, but it doesn't seem like they quite have the move done and dusted. Doug Sorrentino, meanwhile, had a slow lap last lap in the lead of GT4. He was 0.4 of a second slower than Maxwell Budd, who has now taken the fastest lap of the race. It looks like Budd's on a charge.
Indeed, we're going to have to see if Maxwell Budd can indeed find a little bit more pace here out of that AMG. Pierce Fox about a second behind. He's literally on the edge of the drafting range. Indeed, I do have a feeling it will help these cars. Certainly going down that back straight, a slipstream is always going to be beneficial. But got to be honest though, the battles today, all of them happening in TCR. Scott Laurenti has indeed caught up to the back again of Quinn Manders. And that's Scott, that's indeed CJ Conklin leading this trio of cars. He's currently there in P6 in class.
So Quinn Manders was the quickest of these three, 131.2, playing 131.9s for Conklin and Laurenti. Looks like there may or may not be a move made, though, in the short term here. A bit wide for Manders there at turn 6. Laurenti gets up the inside, but Manders has the better exit out of turn 7, so the Audi stays in front for now.
Yeah, certainly some absolutely fantastic battling here. And I can tell you as well, if you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, CJ Conklin, a very talented musician as well. Actually did his final gig at the Cumberland Canteen this weekend. It's quite an emotional one for him, bless him. He's been playing there for years, but indeed, by all means, keep an eye on CJ's musical performance. See, I've tuned in live, watched him on Facebook, and honestly, he's got the sweet velvety voice with a little bit of a twang to it too, and it is fantastic entertainment. But we're going to put that on hold. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on here at the front of the pack? Doug Sorrentino, Maxwell Budd, pretty much underneath the rear wing of that AMG now. Pierce Fox 1.6 seconds back.
Yeah, Doug Sorrentino has had a scrappy couple of laps here, and last lap it was the exit of 10A and 10B where he ran a bit wide across the curb, runs a little wide again coming out of the final corner there. Maxwell Budd has been faster than Doug Sorrentino for the last 3 laps in a row, has taken another 2 tenths out of him here. Oh, careful. Oh dear. Is that Manders? It is.
Yeah. Oh dear, that's tight.
Oh, that's very tight indeed, but Manders gets up to speed just in time for Pierce Fox to arrive on the scene. And cornering speed between the GT4s and TCRs is a bit more well-matched than the straight line speed. That has held up Pierce Fox ever so slightly. What on earth happened to Quinn Manders? Contact? No contact. He just ran wide through turn 3 and caught the grass.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate there indeed. As you can see there, right behind him comes the race leader. So it's definitely a scary moment indeed as the GT4 cars making their way around the lap traffic.
Yeah, the average pace through those opening S's is quite substantial. If you have a problem, then you're going to be rounded up very quickly. Battle of the Hondas then. Andrew Garov getting up the inside of Drew Martin. And this is for 4th place in TCR. What's going to happen here on the exit? Better run out of the corner for Martin, but loses the rear and gets into the grass. That's not ideal. He's going to have to tour back over the alternate layout chicane there for motorcycles, and that's going to be very easily position taken for Andrew Garov. Meanwhile, Sean Phillips in our GT4 field, excuse me, having oh dear. Yeah, that's out at turn 7. Technical problems, network issues potentially. As well as losing the rear end through turn 7. That's far from ideal for Sean Phillips, who I believe was he battling with Jack Minter in the championship standings, both of them with problems in this race.
Yeah, certainly, definitely not how you'd want your race to go. Indeed, that was a colossal incident of magnitude, but certainly, thankfully, only his own car being involved. But Maxwell Budd now, he's found pace that he hasn't found before. And with Charlotte, definitely him going out earlier on was not what any of us really expected. Certainly, the Mustang deciding to rear its horns, and indeed, well, rear its horns, rear its legs, rear up. Win a horse box, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just go with that. And indeed, it looks like our race leaders are now going to find themselves encountering CJ Conklin and indeed Scott Laurenti ahead.
Yeah, Laurenti getting a nice run out of the final chicane here. He's going to get up the inside of Conklin on the way through the final corner, and Sorrentino is going to have to hold back slightly here. This is going to be tight here. And it brings our leaders in GT4 ever closer together. Both of them get by Laurenti and Conklin on the way into turn 1. But Laurenti, look at the cornering speed round the outside there at turn 1. He's doing everything he can to stay ahead of CJ.
Yeah, CJ's definitely working this car, and indeed, the lap traffic can give and the lap traffic can take away. But I've got to say, loving the camera setup there, indeed the lighting as well. I've got to say, the Podium 1 drivers really putting a good effort with their rigs, and obviously, it's the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship. They've got access to the gear.
They certainly do. Fantastic places, Podium 1. Once again, if you're in the Nashville, Tennessee area and you want to upgrade your sim gear, check them out. Pierce Fox moves his way past CJ on the way into turn 6. By turn 7, he is well clear, and he'll have to rely on the traffic, I think, to have any chance of catching up to Sorrentino and Budd. But there's a chance that they might start slowing each other up. Look at how close Maxwell is now. This is going to be interesting here. He pulls out of the slipstream and has a look up the inside of 10A and 10B, but he's a bit too far back to get the move done cleanly. He's going to try and latch onto the back of Doug Sorrentino now like a barnacle on the hull of a ship.
Well, it's not like you think of barnacles. I think of Jacob Knowles watching him on Facebook Reels. He's just a lobster fisherman in Maine. Indeed, he takes lobsters and crab to the claw spa, and if they got barnacles on them, it makes them it makes it hard for them to survive, and it stops them shedding and stuff like that. Never realised, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, if they're a male and they're over 6 inches long, you can't keep them, and if they're female, they have to notch them because they have like 80,000 eggs or something stupid. Some of the lobsters actually go up to be about 100 years old. They can live infinitely as long as they have the energy to keep shedding. Fascinating off-topic for. Worth a watch.
Indeed. Yeah, lobsters are quite fascinating and also delicious. I do like that guy. He does pop up in my algorithm from time to time. But it's good to see it's good to see people having respect for the natural resources that we exploit, and being able to make sure that we're able to keep that going into the future. Let's see how far this battle keeps going into the future. Doug Sorrentino now under a lot of pressure from Maxwell Budd, who's once again run faster. It seems like on race pace, Maxwell Budd has the edge over Sorrentino, but he's not going to go for the move yet. Still got 11.5 minutes remaining in the race.
Yeah, certainly, I think if it was me, I would just keep applying pressure here and certainly probably try and do it on the last lap. But another random fact about lobster, I actually tried to walk one. We had a customer bring us in some lobsters to the shop, and I tried to take it for a walk through the garage. And yeah, it's fair to say that didn't work, but my colleagues now think I'm just a little bit more special.
I'm wondering what meaning of special they're going for there.
You know exactly what it is.
Indeed. Oh, man. Pit stops, going on for TCR at the moment. Drew Martin picked up a black flag on pit entry. It looks like he sped on the way in, which is far from ideal. He's going to be spending a long time stopped in pit lane, and I think that's going to be his position in the top 4 done and dusted for that. Scott Laurenti, 6.6 seconds, the fastest pit stop we've seen from TCR so far. Conklin and Manders have already come into pit lane, and their stops running around 7 seconds. So that's going to round things off for the first few pit stops in TCR. Michael Pacheco now under pressure from Nate Orlovsky. Pacheco in VR is going to be glancing up every so often at his rear view mirror, because it seems like Orlovsky, despite not qualifying that well, really has the edge on race pace.
Yeah, he's definitely, he's been potent in this field so far, and definitely a huge warm welcome to him indeed, rocking that Race Labs livery, ladies and gentlemen. I do have to wonder if he is indeed involved with that as well, but certainly it is an absolute pleasure to see more people joining the series. But we're going to head back here to the battle that is for the lead that's about to approach these guys, as that's Andrew Garov that they're making their way by.
Yep, gives a good amount of room to Doug Sorrentino and Maxwell Butt, about as much room as you can give through turn 1. And that is a lot of curb usage at turn 3 for Doug Sorrentino. Would have gotten an off track from that, I would imagine. They got to be careful of the incident limit here. It's not very big, the incident limit. I believe it's only about 7 or 8 incidents from what I remember. Oh, that's a bad run out of turn 5, and Sorrentino goes defensive into turn 6. Maxwell Budd forced to take the long way around, and he'll have to yield for the moment. Trying again at turn 7. Sorrentino is this is not the Doug Sorrentino I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, definitely he's under a bit more pressure today, and certainly it's going to make for some interesting racing. But it looks like we've got another battle happening as well. Tommy Polte and Joshua Travis starting to duke it out here for P4 as well.
Yeah, Joshua Travis and the sole BMW M4 in the field. Front engine rear wheel drive, much like the Mercedes. Tommy Polte in the mid-engine Porsche Cayman. He's been steadily working his way up to the back of Joshua Travis here, but a little bit deep in turn 7, might not get the run he needs down the back stretch. Looks like the lead is compressing again for GT4 meanwhile, as Sorrentino and Budd are making their way through more TCR traffic. They've just found their way past Orlovsky, and that has gotten some space between Orlovsky and Pacheco, as Sorrentino having to stay back here. Big slide for Sorrentino. Maxwell Budd now stands a chance to take the lead, maybe coming into turn 6.
Yeah, Pacheco is definitely going to be sweating at this point. Don't get me wrong, we got 2 battles happening here. It's for the lead of the GT4, and indeed for, oh my gosh, that was tight there. And indeed for the TCR field as well. That's P2 going on, and indeed that battle has been separated very slightly there. 0.8 of a second in it, but indeed these guys still in the draft. Maxwell Budd and Doc Sorrentino trying to make their way through. About 7.5 minutes left to go in this race.
Yeah, and it's been a great race between Sorrentino and Budd for the overall lead here. Sorrentino maybe a bit off from what we usually expect of him. He's usually metronomically consistent at the front of the field, but Road Atlanta doesn't seem to be agreeing with him today. Maxwell Budd has been piling the pressure on the whole way through, and he's been having looks at every single braking zone. This is a Doug Sorrentino now that is forced to make some defensive moves.
Yeah, certainly, I think if I was Maxwell Budd, I'd probably be trying to use the lap traffic to my advantage here. See if you can find Sorrentino in a situation where he really is out of sorts. As you see the razzle-dazzle coming on, as that's Chris Schuessler they're making the way by.
Yep, Chris brakes very early into turn 1 and lets our leaders go. So they are unbothered and completely ready to keep that battle going. Travis and Polte, meanwhile, looks like there might be a move here. Polte pulls out of the slipstream and goes up the inside of 10A. Does Joshua Travis give it to him? No. A lot of room given between them, a lot of respect between these guys. And it looks like the BMW is going to stay ahead for the moment.
Yeah, he was definitely kinder than I am. I would have absolutely sent that and gone for it, but certainly these two guys may be a little bit more courteous than myself. But indeed, the BMW holding on for now to P4 in the GT4 class.
Yeah, it's a very entertaining fight that these guys are having. Polte seems to be gathering a little more speed on the way out of turn 1 there, but consistency and hitting your apexes correctly in this section of the circuit is crucial. And Polte maybe not getting to the apex as quickly as he'd like there.
Yeah, certainly that is a very challenging section indeed, as he's flirting with the track limits there, able to keep that car going. Indeed, you've got to really push the car there at that point. But indeed, Polte able to stay there in the draft, which is about 0.4 of a second behind the number 68 of Joshua Travis.
Now, TCR leader is in the pit lane meanwhile. Javi Sierra, we've barely given him any airtime at all, but that's not a criticism. He's just so far out in front, he doesn't have anyone to race with. So he'll get his pit stop done and out of the way. Looks like Orlovsky and Garov are going to come in behind him, but Michael Pacheco staying out for at least another lap. There's only going to be about 3 laps to go or so for the TCR field. Wondering if Pacheco has maybe been saving fuel and will try to go all the way to the end without a pit stop. It hasn't really been done for the TCRs thus far this season, so remains to be seen. Still some time left to figure that out. Joshua Travis then, still ahead of Tommy Polte for 4th place in GT4. We only have 6 GT4s left running here as Travis has gone wide out of turn 1, a little bit deep, just in time for, I think, Garov to emerge onto the racetrack with quite the surprise to his left-hand side. But that's position sorted for the moment between Polte and Travis.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a tense moment there for the TCR driver, as indeed we got another driver still in the pits. That is Sean Phillips, ladies and gentlemen. He's currently serving that meatball flag, trying to get that Mustang repaired. Indeed, I think it's all a little bit too little too late, but the Hello Kitty inspired machine, at least that's what I'm going with, ladies and gentlemen, is currently leading the race still. He's not had a challenge yet for the lead. He is up 1 position, and certainly Amrit Bashar taking the early retirement there. As you see, Quinn Manders ahead in that TCR. He's currently in P7 in class.
Yeah, indeed. As Michael Pacheco brings it into pit lane. Used to be that those yellow cones denoting the start of pit lane were right there at the start of the actual pit lane itself. But if you've watched the Petit Le Mans in the last couple of years, you'll see that, oh dear, there's been contact for Maxwell Budd with Quinn Manders. It looks like that's spaced out the GT4 lead very close to the end. Bad things happening. Looked like a miscommunication through the S's, unfortunately. Manders turning in, and unfortunately, Maxwell Budd, I think, probably assumed that he'd be given room there, but I don't think Manders was under any obligation to do so. Unfortunately, he's come out of that one second best.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have been expecting the TCR car to come back through as well. So certainly a little bit unfortunate indeed. It's going to spread out that bell that we had going for lead. But definitely, I don't think it was by any means intentional. As Quinn Manders now, yeah, that car's pretty balked at this point.
Yeah, he towed back to pit lane and, well, he might be able to get the damage repaired and back out there, but he'll only be able to complete another lap at most. That's a real shame for Quinn. We have got 6, as I said, 6 of our GT4s still running. We've lost 3 of them. Phillips, Minter, and Vestrala have all retired from this one, and Amrit Vestrala in particular, the big surprise there, very early on making a mistake through the S's, and ending his race in the wall. Meanwhile, Tommy Polte is still involved with Joshua Travis here as they make their way past. I believe that was Orlovsky. And have a look at how the Honda Civic really rounds up the Porsche Cayman on the exit of the chicane here. It's often difficult trying to race multi-class between these cars because they make up their pace in different places. The TCRs are definitely slower around a lap than the GT4s, but where they actually make their pace differs.
Yeah, as you see, Orlovsky taking a little bit of a scenic route there out of turn 1 indeed. Looks like Joshua Travis a little bit unsettled as well, but these guys have managed to sort it out, and it's looking pretty much slam dunked here for Sorrentino at this point. Maxwell Budd is within a second, but I do have to wonder if he maybe picked up a little bit of damage on the front of that Mercedes.
Oh yeah, I think he definitely made some contact, and but there doesn't seem to be much in the way of visual damage on the car. So potentially Maxwell got away with it. White flag in the air and waving, but 0.5 of a second, half a second faster, is Maxwell Budd on that lap. Doug Sorrentino has not been able to maintain the race pace that we usually expect of him here. Could still be a chance for Budd to take the lead here on the final lap.
Yeah, certainly. I'm gonna have to see exactly if he can do it. Indeed, I do have to wonder if the draft is part of it as well. But certainly that last lap, Budd fell back quite a bit there after that collision with Quinn Manners. Indeed, it looks like he's pulled through even further. Ladies and gentlemen, he's scored up 2 or 3 tenths of a second. Oh dear, something's happened with Pulte.
Oh dear, Tommy, backwards through 10A and 10B. What happened to him here? Looks like it might have been a solo error. Getting on the brakes, and yeah, he just went too deep into the corner there, caught a bit of the grass, and that turned him around. So Joshua Travis very duly moves through to take 4th place. Sorrentino giving us a little wiggle down the back straight. I think he's aware that he's on his way to getting victory, despite all of the odds that he has faced from Maxwell Budd. And run through the final couple of corners is clear for him. Tiny bit of TCR traffic ahead, but not much to worry about. Doug Sorrentino through the final corner and across the line will take victory in GT4, but he certainly had to work for it.
Yeah, certainly, and starring there as Shakira going down the back straight, ladies and gentlemen. The hips don't indeed lie of the 69 car of Sorrentino. Meanwhile, Pierce Fox, he's able to bring it home in 3rd. Joshua Travis pretty much gifted that position on the last lap there. Tommy Pulte having that unforced error. Indeed, it's looking good here. Hard charger, though, in the whole field, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be Nate Olowski. He's up 5 positions overall, but I've got to say, in the GT4 field, it's this man, Chris Scheusler, as he brings it across the line.
And just behind him, you see Javi Sierra celebrating his victory. It's another exercise in sheer domination for the Puerto Rican in the JSR Honda Civic. Well, he'll very quickly pull over by the side of the track and just take it in. Michael Pacheco, despite facing some battles along the way, will finish a clear 2nd place ahead of Nate Orlovsky. Again, 5 overall positions gained, as you said, Zippy. A very nice race and a podium for the number 14. Very impressive.
Yeah, definitely some good stuff there. Andrew Garov definitely getting a little bit too flirtatious with the track limits today, and indeed, we're going to have to wonder if he can clean it up a little bit for the GT3s.
Yes, as Scott Laurenti brings it across the line in 5th place in TCR. And it looks like CJ is going to be the last car to cross the line, so we'll be getting those results in just a few seconds' time. And just like that, we are there. Doug Sorrentino, half a second ahead of Maxwell Budd, but Maxwell was faster for pretty much the whole race. The podium for GT4 rounded out by Pierce Fox, a consistent drive from him. Joshua Travis making it past Tommy Pulte after Tommy ran deep in the chicane. Chris Scheusler finishing in 6th place and the last finisher in the GT4 field.
Indeed. Let's I'm trying to decide which way I want to do this. Let's take a look here. And we'll do TCRs. I couldn't decide, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies for that. TCR field, though. Javi Sierra took the win. Michael Pacheco in 2nd. Nate Orlovsky in 3rd with Andrew Garov in 4th. Scott Laurenti took 5th with CJ Cochran 7th. And Quinn Manners rounding out 7th with Drew Martin. There, he definitely dropped a few laps back there in 8th. There you go. Let's give this another go, Reese. I do apologize. I literally couldn't decide.
No trouble. Well, we've already been through our top 6 there. Scheusler finishing a lap down, but the last car to take the checkered flag in the GT4 class, Sean Phillips, Jack Minter, and Amrit Vestrala, all retiring from the race here. And Vestrala, the biggest surprise of all, being our pole sitter. Hopefully, next round he has a better time of it. For the moment, we will have a chat with our GT4 winner, Doug Sorrentino. And indeed, it is the top of the timing sheets for you, Doug, but you certainly had to work for it. Maxwell gave you quite the race.
Yup. Yeah, that's right. You know, Max gave me a good effort. Amrit gave me a good effort too. You know, I put in not that much practice due to personal issues, and you know, everybody else came to show up. It was such a shame that Amrit spun out.
Yeah, certainly. We were expecting a fantastic battle between the two of you, but yeah, it seemed like Road Atlanta wasn't treating you as nicely as it treated Maxwell this round, but sometimes the traffic benefited you there.
That's right. I know how to play traffic here. You know, doing just a lot of other different multi-class races, you get an understanding of how the pace is around here. And going through the S's, I was like, all right, it's now or never. If I don't pass Quinn, you know, Max is going to pass me. So I made it work, and you know, unfortunately, he got the short end of the stick there. But you know, still P2 for him, so I can't complain, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Still with another win on the board, and we're starting to get to the pointy end of that championship. Adelaide is next week, and me being an Aussie, I'm particularly excited to see that track on the schedule, but it's another street circuit, much like Belle Isle, so
Right.
you're going to have to really have your eyes on stalks for that one.
It's going to be a challenge. There's two factors in that race, believe it or not. There's, you know, TCR traffic and driving upside down. Like, you know, there's going to be a lot of blood rushing to my head. I'm not used to it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if you strap an oxygen tank, you might be able to get a bit of extra oxygen to your brain there, and maybe run lap times half as slow as everyone else. We'll have to wait and see on that one, Doug. Good luck with the first chicane, by the way. It's very easy to pick up a slowdown there, so maybe a bit of extra practice time required. But regardless, looking forward to next week, as I'm sure you are, and that will be another one-up for you in the championship standings in GT4. Good round.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Cheers as always. Appreciate your work.
Appreciate you too, Doug Sorrentino, joining us from the win of the GT4 class. The man who finished second to him was Maxwell Budd. My apologies, Zippy, I misclicked there. Maxwell Budd is back in there now, ready to chat with you.
Well, certainly, Max, you've definitely give Doug a good run for his money, and indeed today looked like the closest you'd been yet. Tell us a little bit here. You definitely had the pace, but not quite the slick moves here. I mean, he was doing a bit of Shakira on the final lap. Indeed, what moves were you dancing to, trying to find your way past the 69?
You know, Doug had a great race. It was hard to pass him. The track is super narrow, and I forget what lap it was, but I sent it up the inside of him. Actually ended up getting a slowdown, so there wasn't many places to pass. And then unfortunately I accidentally took out Manders following Doug, and I felt bad for that, but there wasn't that much I could do to get around Doug tonight.
Well, certainly, we do respect the challenge that is indeed trying to get past that 69 car, and certainly having a review of that incident with yourself and Manders definitely did not look intentional, and by all means, I think I would have been a little bit surprised there. I wasn't quite ready for him to pull in, and indeed that's the thing with multi-class racing as well. It's these things happen indeed. The best part of it is obviously nobody got hurt. It's sim racing. Very rare does somebody get hurt, at least physically anyway. Emotionally, that's a different story, but certainly nothing on Quinn there by any means. Nothing not roasting Quinn, ladies and gentlemen, but certainly yeah, definitely put in a good run indeed, as we see Amrit there getting a little bit of a detour into the wall, which worked out very well for you. But yourself, you know, you've had good pace, but we're heading to Adelaide for the next round. Certainly, how would you feel about that venue? Certainly not one that I've seen here yet, or at least not familiar with here on Pit Road Productions.
You know, I haven't practiced much at that track yet. It's a new season track, so it'll be interesting to try and figure it out.
Well, certainly we are indeed going to wish you the best of luck. Ladies and gentlemen, driver of the 008, it's Maxwell Budd.
Thanks, guys.
Fantastic stuff from Maxwell Budd today. And we are joined by Pierce Fox, who rounded out the podium in the GT4 class. Pierce, it was mostly a matter of seeing those Mercedes move away from you over the course of the race, but a couple of appointments with traffic made the race interesting for you still.
Yeah, they definitely had a lot more pace than I was expecting this race. Hopefully in the GT3 race I've got a little bit more pace. There were a couple sketchy times with traffic in the race, but luckily no incidents from them.
And a quiet race is really what you need at this point in the season. Collecting some points definitely from Amrit after his incident in the opening laps. So consistency being key in this second half of the season. What are you expecting from Adelaide next week?
I'm not sure. I can't remember if I don't think I've driven that track before, so I've got to put some practice in and just see if it's a track that suits me or not.
I wouldn't expect many to be familiar with Adelaide. It is technically the newest circuit on iRacing, but it will provide a big challenge indeed. Some close racing between yourself and Maxwell, but regardless, another podium for you, Pierce. It's good to see once more. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And Pierce will very quickly get ready for the GT3 race that is coming up shortly. That's going to round things off for the first portion of the night, Zippy. And wow, if that was anything to go by, we have got a rollicking GT3 race coming up soon.
Oh, I got a feeling it's going to be even spicier. Certainly, I'm looking forward to it. And indeed, I love being here at Road Atlanta. But certainly, ladies and gentlemen, just stay with us. We'll be right back after this very short break.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen.
You're watching Pit Road Productions, the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship. The GT4 and TCR race certainly providing quite a bit of entertainment as the sun rose. Now it is solidly in the sky. 2:15 in the afternoon in sim time for the GT3 race. And an absolute bumper field once again. This is going to be quite the race indeed. 40 minutes ahead of us with a pit stop required for fuel. And whether or not Alex Zart will be able to continue his incredible momentum in this championship, or if Joshua Wilford will be able to start fighting back on him, remains to be seen. If you're just joining us, I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the commentary box. Zippy, what are you expecting from this?
Oh, I got a feeling it's going to be an absolute belter race. Certainly, we've seen some good competition, and certainly looking actually in the qualifying standings right now. Some interesting names in the top of the field right now. Dustin Warren's currently in P2, Alex Zart in P1, and indeed Wilton Palermo putting it into the top 3 as well. Ben Mellick's got pace. There's a lot of people in some interesting places. Joshua Wilford currently back there in 7th. Certainly, I have to wonder if he wins the season and just starts slacking off because he's done it. Certainly, Wilford, we're calling him out on this. We expect to see more results from yourself. But before we get too excited, Reese, let's take a look here at the championship standings.
Indeed. So at the moment, Alex Zart has been the one to beat. He leads the championship by 23 points from Joshua Wilford. Maxwell Budd, podium in the GT4 race earlier and sits 3rd in the GT3 standings, but not too far ahead of Chris Krohn there, with Manuel Sandoval and Javi Sierra rounding at your top 6. Amrit Vestrala are only another 4 points behind that in P7. It's looking really good for some close racing in these championship standings, Zippy. We've got to be we've got to keep an eye out on how these standings will work out in the remaining rounds. It's a lot closer than I expected.
Yes, it definitely is. As we take a look here at the GTD standings, indeed, Jack Minter currently leading it by just 3 points over Ben Mellick. Michael Clark there with 215 points. We've not really seen too much of him, but certainly he's been putting in some good runs as well. Usually one of the hard chargers in the field. Certainly he was last season. Kevin Navarez, he actually brought cheerleading section with him last week. He's there in 4th, 205 points, just 5 points clear of Wilton Palermo. Quinn Mander's there as well, and Sick with just about 5 points clear as well of Michael Belair, who I don't think I've seen yet today. I believe he's traveling, ladies and gentlemen, so by all means we do wish him safe travels indeed. Certainly put in some good entertainment, but indeed, look at the battles going on as well. Further down, absolutely incredible. I believe that's just 1 point between them there. Tommy Polty and indeed, I think Sean Phillips. I've not got my glasses on, ladies and gentlemen, so by all means forgive me, but certainly some fantastic battles here happening in the series.
Yeah, plenty indeed. We'll keep our eyes peeled for the remainder of qualifying here. And a guided lap will be revealing itself very shortly. At the moment, it's Krohn on top in the qualifying standings. Joshua Wilford 2nd, Alex Zart in P3. And the times are quite close, just a couple of tenths separating the top of the standings here. Wilford in the slipstream of Alex Zart to try his best to get the run down the straights here.
Yeah, it looks like the Real Street guys as well, having a little bit of team technique here, and definitely the most represented team we've seen here in the Podium 1 Championship. By all means, you can recognize them. These Zebra cars definitely do not blend in. Quite the opposite. There's usually a lot of action happening. I believe that was Chris Bressay there getting a little bit loose in the Corvette, which honestly, I'm kind of fond of the Corvette. I miss it from the GTE days, but we've got to give a huge shout out as well. Doug Sorrentino, the winner of the GT4 race we just had, he's actually going to be in race control today, so definitely wish him the very best of luck as the onboard lap here. We're going to do with Ben Mellick in just a second.
Indeed, Ben Mellick currently sitting 8th in the overall standings here. And for the moment, 2nd in the GTD standings, as there was a big change up the top of the standings just a few moments ago. Now Wilford sits on pole ahead of Krohn and Zart, all improving on that lap. But Mellick bringing us into turn 1. It's such a fast entry into this corner. You've got to be careful not to take too much of the curb. Stick tight on the exit to open up the entry into turn 3, braking across the curb, bouncing off the apex, and then trying your best to keep the rotation and momentum momentum going as you descend downhill through the S's. Ride those curbs as best you can. The bumps out of turn 5 will certainly play a factor today. Got to use all of the curb that you can on the exit. Then through the dip and into the braking zone for turn 6. It's slightly banked this corner, so you carry a lot of speed through it, but then turn 7, it flattens out quite a bit. And then that's the run onto the back stretch here on the way up to turns 10A and 10B. Highest speeds on this racetrack are reached, and it's looking like top speed of about 250 k's an hour, just touching 260 on the way into the final chicane. Whatever that is in miles per hour, you can work that out for yourself, because I live in metric land. Looks like Zart having a problem at the chicane there. A lot of speed you can carry through those corners, but it's faster than you think. And across the line for Ben Melik, that is a 118.4, which isn't too far off his fastest pace.
Yeah, that's definitely not a bad time by any means. 160 mile an hour, ladies and gentlemen. It's fair play to say he's getting on with Bryce Crone. That's gone even faster. Just 200ths of a second separating himself and Joshua Wilford. Good to see Wilford here making his way. Obviously, the pep talk worked during the pre-show, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, as it looks like we do indeed have a dead heat right now between Maxwell Brudd and Chris Passetti. Both of them will be 118.21.
Yeah, looks like a mere thousandth of a second between those two. So,
oh my,
it's going to be touch and go for the standings there.
Same with Greg Boyce. Greg Boyce and indeed Dustin Warren both with 118.42. Then Kevin Rosario with 118.44. And another one, Tommy Polty and Jack Minter, both of them were 119.46. This is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, very tight indeed, as I just saw Kevin Rosario getting his way up to P5. An excellent lap that he just set for 118.18. That'll bring him within 100th of a second to Kenneth Narvaez, who rounds out our top 4. So it looks like with still 3 minutes to go in this session, we are going to be seeing some incredibly close lap times here.
Look at it in the timing tower right now, Reese. Literally, Maxwell Budd and Chris Passetti are tied to the 1,000th of a second. That is absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's
wow.
Mega close. We'll see who gets the benefit here in these last 2 minutes. The pressure is on, the track is hot, and looking for those last couple of tenths is going to prove quite difficult. Wilton Palermo just outside the overall top 10 here. Number 91 needs to gain only 100th of a second or so to move his way into 11th. Needs a little bit more than that to break into the top 10, but Wilton is certainly muscling his way around the right-handers here in the middle of the lap. No slipstream ahead of him, though. I think the slipstream is going to be quite important for lap time here.
Yeah, I don't know what the firearm laws are in Puerto Rico, but certainly he's going to need a permit for those guns. Definitely got that DD cranked up high. You can see him working there as he brought it around onto the back straight. Indeed, the BMW behind him looking to try and capitalize on the slipstream. Palermo, though, nobody slipstream in sight, as indeed he is. Yeah, he is working that whole body motion, trying to get that car around as he makes his way to the final corner of this lap.
Joshua Wilford taking overall pole, as I think I just saw Michael Clark have a spin out of turn 5. He's had to tow back to pit lane, so unfortunately I think that's going to be the end of his session. But Wilford making some nice responses ahead of Crone and Zart here as the lap times continue to come down. Just a minute to go in the session, and this is where the money is made. Crone in the slipstream of his Real Street teammate and pulling out just in time there to allow him the full benefit of a clear run into 10A and 10B. What's this lap time going to be worth, I wonder? Amrit Vestrala crashed out of the GT4 race after starting on pole, unfortunately for him, but he's responded nicely with 5th place for the moment. Crone setting a 1:17.554. That is less than half a tenth off his best.
Yeah, indeed. Good to see Amrit doing a little bit better. But Joshua Wilford has indeed gone purple in Sector 2. Are we going to see an improvement? It's currently his best lap time is a 1:17.399. Can he go ever faster, ladies and gentlemen? The clock is ticking. Has he done it? No. All that excitement. I was ready for it.
Well, we'll see then what further improvements are made? There were a couple. Pierce Fox and Chris Brassetti have just put themselves into 5th and 7th respectively. Great improvements right at the end of the session, and the checkered flag is about to fly in this qualifying session. But anyone who's currently on a hot lap can now complete it.
Yeah, certainly can. It looks like CJ's out there running as well. This is good. I'm glad he's getting the race. And again, a huge thank you to Sorrentino there for stepping into race control. Bryce Crone, though, he has indeed gone purple in Sector 2. Is it going to be this one? Is Wilford going to have to face the wrath of Real Street indeed as he makes his way down the hill, around the final turn? Is this going to be the one that puts Bryce Crone on the pole, across the line? He's got a 117.399 to beat. Can he do it? A 117.561, close, but no cigar.
Yeah, not quite. Crone has tried his best to improve on that 117.5, and he's gotten close, but no cigar for the moment. He is still on the front row, though, unless we see the unless we see a big improvement from Boyce. No, it's not going to happen. Boyce is done. He will stay in 10th. We've still got Williams and Pacheco yet to complete laps. Wilford practicing a pit stop, which is pretty smart, honestly. It's going to be quite interesting to see what he can do. So looks like that's going to be the end of qualifying now, Zippy, and our grid is just about set.
Yeah, it's certainly Pierce yourself going into this race here. What's going to be your strategy? You managed to qualify here in P5.
Just keep it consistent. I was doing a little faster in practice, so hopefully I can get back up to the 17.7s. But we'll just have to see. Don't really get too much time to switch over between the cars, so.
Well, certainly you got your biggest rival, I'd say, Maxwell Budd, right ahead of you. Maybe you two guys can indeed work together and indeed try and take on the likes of Wilford Crone and Zart. But Pierce, we're going to leave you to it. Good luck, and we'll be keeping an eye out for you.
Thank you, sir.
Lovely stuff. Pierce Fox, once again, going to be starting P5 for this race. And with just a couple of seconds remaining before the session ticks over, it's time for us to go through the grid for the GT3 race here at Road Atlanta. Joshua Wilford starting on pole position. Bryce Crone alongside him on the front row. Championship leader Alex Zart will start alongside Maxwell Budd on row 2. Pierce Fox and Amrit Vestrala 5th and 6th. Then it's Chris Brassetti ahead of Kenneth Narvaez, who takes the pole in the GTD class. Kevin Rosario is second in that, with Greg Boyce rounding out the top 10.
Having a look there at P11, it's going to be Ben Melek for the Real Street Racing team, with indeed Dustin Warren in 12th. In 13th, Will Palermo, we saw him flexing just a few moments ago. He's there alongside Jay Williams in 14th. The Puerto Rican mastermind that is Javi Sierra, he's there in 15th with Michael Clark, leader of the Lamborghinis. He's there, well, I say your leader, Alex Hart doing well on the Lamborghinis as well. He's there in 16th with Michael Pacheco in 17th. Matt Jones, he's back in 18th with Joshua Travers in 19th. And indeed, Jack Minter going up in P20.
In 21st, it's Hans Brady. He's got Quinn Manders for company. Quinn just coming in hot from the TCR race, with Tommy Polte coming in from the GT4s. Andrew Garov also in TCR in 24th place. CJ Conklin and Sean Phillips will round out our field there on the 13th and final row. Doug Sorrentino, as we've said, will be serving in race control for this one. So we'll have 26 cars taking to the start, all of which are quite close on lap time. I think this is either going to be an incredibly competitive race or one that is reigned by chaos.
Indeed, and let's give a huge shout out to the people in chat as well. We've got Ali in the chat. Welcome back. Indeed, we'll read her comment later. Watching these guys through the S's and seeing how consistently they nail the apex is like watching an artist paint on a blank canvas. Super cool, with a big smiley face. Indeed, it definitely is. And by all means, definitely take Road Atlanta out for a spin. By all means, probably one of my favorite tracks, if not my favorite track overall, ladies and gentlemen. And we've also got driver from the TCRs just now. New driver, I can't say, what was the name? Ezekiel Reese? But real world. Orlovsky, thank you. Certainly my memory is not the best. Orlovsky there, saying they actually drive a legend in real life as well. And I was asking, is it the same in the sim where, if you start to lose it, you're gone? And very much so. Oh, absolutely. If you lose it on track, rest in peace. So certainly that is the vibe. As OG Holiday makes an appearance in the chat as well. Hello. By all means, hit the subscribe button.
Yes, indeed. Recently passed 1,000 subscribers here on Pit Road Productions. So a nice little milestone to reach as the field begins their formation lap immediately on the weave at the front of the field, trying to get heat into the tires as best they can. The air temperature has stayed the same from before. It's still 19 Celsius, but the track temperature has almost doubled. It's up to 34 Celsius, and that's solidly in the 90s for Fahrenheit. So we will see the tires get up to temperature pretty quickly here, and I think it'll be all about managing that tire temperature going forward. We won't have to change tires at the pit stop. GT3 tires can certainly last the distance, an hour or more, but I think with how intense the load is through a lot of these corners at Road Atlanta, they will need to make sure they don't scrub them.
I can remember it in times gone by, doing a triple stint in a Spa 24-hour. And it's fair to say that third stint was not a good idea. iRacing didn't have punctures, but certainly it behaved like it did. I brought in the right front on 2%, and it was pooch. But that year, I believe we actually came, yeah, it was the one we came second in our split as well. So absolutely fantastic stuff. As it's Tommy Pulte, who is indeed OG Holiday. Thank you, Tommy. Good to see you in there.
Very nice indeed. Well, Pulte is going to be taking to the start here from 23rd place. Let's see how far he moves up in a field that is incredibly close on pace. It's going to be difficult to make any big moves. You'll have to really get yourself on the ball for that.
Well, I just spotted a little bit of tongue-in-cheek there from Dustin Warren. That's just giving me a smile. Certainly, that gentleman enjoying the a different kind of reading material than perhaps you'd expect here in a sim racing circle. We'll put it like that. Indeed, you could almost class it as educational, but right now, Joshua Wilford here getting ready to take this GT3, well, indeed, GTD race off to the start.
Here we go then. Checkered, green flag is almost ready, but there's a check up at the back of the field. Oh my goodness, looked like there was a bit of confusion there, but fortunately it seems not many people had problems as the green flag flies and we are away. Jack Minter, unfortunately, picking up a black flag right away due to that checkup, passing before the start-finish line. Potentially that black flag will be cleared by race control, but it's a clean start for just about everyone else. Wilford leading from Krone and Zart as they make their way through the S's for the first time. Dustin Warren and Wilton Palermo side by side as there's smoke by the side of the track, and oh dear, Greg Boyce. Well, the Red Bull livery is not giving him much luck there. That's big damage and towing on lap one.
Yeah, definitely. He had a bit more energy than the tyres can indeed handle as Joshua Wilford has managed to pull away a 1.2 second lead. If he can do that and keep it going, this may indeed be the opportunity he's been looking for all season. Certainly has not gone well for him in the most recent events, but right now, Bryce Croner, he's currently in P2, and honestly, I'm a little disappointed. He's not got the opportunity to absolutely send it on turn one, which indeed we've been looking out for. Certainly at the street circuit that was Long Beach, it was absolutely fantastic stuff as Alex Zartmel looking to apply a bit of pressure to try and take P2.
Oh, there's no room. Oh, that was close. But it has sent Krone a bit wide out of the final corner. And so I think a move into turn one might be in Alex Zart's near future here. Krone's defensive on the way into the first turn. This is going to give half a chance to Maxwell Budd as well. Over under here for Alex? Maybe. Not quite. He didn't turn in time, so he'll have to stay behind Krone for the moment. A lot of pressure on Zart here. Championship leader coming into this round, and not by much. Joshua Wilford in second place in the championship, in the lead and skipping away. 2 seconds in the lead now.
Yeah, I gotta say, I do love Alex Zart's setup as well. Lovely set on as indeed he is applying all of the pressure here back to Bryce Krone, as we may have just had him pretty big on the screen there. But right now, I've got to say, Maxwell Butt doing pretty well. He's currently there in P4, and I absolutely love the paint as well. Beautiful colouring on that, indeed. It's very Aurora we're going to go with, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a little bit of a look back further in the field as Amrit Pastrana has been battling. Oh dear, that's Kevin gone off now on his way around towards the back straight.
Fortunately, plenty of room on the grass there to avoid getting into the wall, but he's going to lose that momentum all the way down the back stretch. He's fallen outside the top 10, and that's going to be Williams finding his way past. Meanwhile, Michael Clark up behind Harvey Sierra, battling for 14th place. We'll see the recovering Rosario up ahead. That's a big move from Michael Clark, and he gets up the inside of Harvey Sierra. That was a fantastic move.
Yeah, I had a feeling he was going to go for it, and indeed he did deliver. Kevin Mazzaro looking to try and apply a little bit of stick as well, trying to find his way back through the order. But Pacheco now as well, one of the few McLarens in the grid. Quinn Amanda's rocking one as well, but look ahead. Matt Jones now applying a bit of pressure here in the, what I believe is the only accurate in the field, as Pacheco looking to try and make his way forward onto P16 overall.
Yeah, the Acura NSX for a time was the car to have in the GT3 class, but it seems that recent balance of performance changes have resulted in being used a lot less, but it's good to see it's still out there. Hit the curb quite substantially on the way into turn 5 and so lost a little bit of pace, but no change for them. Meanwhile, Michael Clark gets up the inside of Rosario and moves his way back ahead there. 2 positions gained thus far for Michael Clark as the race is on between CJ Conklin and Quinn Manders. CJ strapped himself in and now he'll have the slipstream benefit down the backstretch.
I gotta admit, I would love to try motion and seatbelt tensions and stuff like that, but the problem is if I do that and like it, it's then basically, it's going to be a mistake, which I'm not going to be able to do. And indeed, it looks like CJ there, he's got a little bit of pressure behind him from Andrew Garrell, but as well as he goes and makes a move on the inside, beautifully cuts across there, Quinn Manders, and there's nothing that Manders can do. And now Garrell might find himself with an opportunity as well as they make their way down towards turn 1.
Lovely stuff. CJ Conklin putting some distance between himself and Quinn Manders. Let's see what Andrew Garov decides is the best course of action here. Looking up the inside of turn 1, but it doesn't look like the move was really presenting itself there. He's going to have to wait a few laps to get that done. Field starting to space out for the moment. We'll check back in with Rosario, who's managed to stay ahead of Harvey Sierra here. And Jones and Pacheco not too far behind. Harvey is going to be looking for a potential top 10 in the GT3s after winning the TCR class earlier by a huge margin, but GT3s a little bit more complex on that front. Have a look at this. Quinn Manders and Andrew Garov have caught right back up to CJ Conklin through the twistier part of the circuit.
Yeah, I got a feeling we're going to see a freeway fight here. CJ Conklin currently leading it in. One of the few Corvettes in the field, actually. Tommy Polte's got one as well. You can see him just ahead, applying a bit of pressure here to Joshua Travers as well. Certainly these two guys, they just duked it out in the GT4, in the GT4 TCR race as well. As look at that, is that Conklin now under attack? Quinn Manders not quite able to do it, and it looks like Andrew Garrett looking to try and apply a bit of pressure as well. Is he going to get the exit speed to potentially get it done here and indeed stay with this pack and try and make a move into turn 1?
That is the question. We're going to see the trio compress on the way into the first turn here. Oh, Andrew Garrett decides to go round the outside, 3 wide. That could have ended in disaster. What it has resulted in is side by side between the BMW and the McLaren. Oh my goodness. This is really benefiting Hans Brady. Look at the time that he gained on them.
Yeah, I have a feeling I needed CJ seatbelt tensioners for that because I was pretty much ready to jump out of the car at that point. Indeed, it was incredibly close. And here you go. Look at the exit speed from Hans Brady. He's currently down 2 positions and looking to try and make it one less, ladies and gentlemen, as he goes up on the inside of Andrew Garrett. Garrett goes wide in the 05 BMW. Indeed, can the Effect Vodka Real Streak Machine here of Hans Brady find his way ahead? Indeed, he's not been able to get it done side by side to go down the straight. Who's going to get the draft, though, from the McLaren of Quinn Manders? It's going to split in the middle as Andrew Garrett retakes the lead.
Yeah, it looks like neither of them getting a particularly good run there. So now Hans Brady will see the opportunity again at the 10A and 10B, but on the brakes very early. So it looks like this 4-way fight now is, oh, okay. This is going to be interesting coming through the opening corners. Let's keep a very close eye out here. It is possible to make the move into turn 1, but sometimes not advisable. Garov defensive.
Yeah, certainly myself. That's DJ!
Oh dear. Whoa, that was a lucky escape for everybody involved there. CJ does get it rolling, which is good to see. But unfortunately, turn 1 bites hard. It's on for second place as well. If we can peel out eyes away from everything else for a second, Alex Zart has been right on the back of Bryce Krone for this entire race, and he's been looking for moves at every opportunity, but Krone seems to be putting his car in all the right places. Defensive into 10A, and Zart is sent wide through the first of those corners, and here comes Maxwell Budd. He made up a lot of time on Alex Zart there.
Yeah, he's going to have to hope that these guys keep fighting. And it's interesting to see Krone having to be on the defensive as well. Usually, he's in there. He's one of the aggressors and indeed one of the instigators there in this race. But currently, right now, he is having to make that AMG as wide as he possibly can. Zart now, a fresh set of challenges. Wilford, in the meantime, he's pulled ahead by about 5.5 seconds. This is exactly what the driver was looking for of the number 1 car.
Yeah, this is the Joshua Wilford I'm used to seeing. A long way in the lead, and looks like he's almost unassailable at this point. But lap traffic will certainly be a factor in the second half of the race. We got just over 31 minutes remaining on the timer. An awful lot has happened in the last 8.5 minutes or so, and I think we'll be seeing about another 10 minutes or so before drivers start coming into pit lane. The drivers at the front traditionally making their way through the first half an hour or so of the race before they come into the pit stops. But in battles like this between Vestrala, Warren and Palermo, we might be seeing drivers attempting an undercut, an overcut, whichever strategy appears to be the best. Tyres aren't going to be a factor, but fuel certainly will. Maybe they'll be trying to save a bit.
Yeah, certainly I've not really seen any drivers trying to save fuel. So certainly at Road Atlanta, that back straight, you can save a little bit there as you make your way to 10A and 10B, but I've not seen anybody do it yet. We'll have to keep an eye out, or indeed an ear out, and see if we can hear anybody trying to just breathe on the throttle a little bit softer. As you see Dustin Warren there going for the move on Amber Vestrala.
Merck versus Merck into turn 1. The Porsche behind, looking to take advantage. Wilton Palermo almost finding a way past there. Side by side again in contact. And that's going to be Vestrala shuffled back ever so slightly. Now Wilton Palermo sees half a chance to make the move. These guys are battling at the back end of the top 10, and I'm seeing that Michael Clark and Jay Williams are starting to make up some time on them as well. This battle technically going from 9th place all the way back to 16th. There are some big spaces between the cars, but they're all within a second of each other. This has been a really intense battle up ahead of them. Joshua Wilford brings the fastest lap down to a 1:17.3, and that is half a second faster than what Krone and Zart can manage. They are battling so intensely that they're costing each other a bit of time, but at the moment there's not really much they can do about it. The pace is so close between them that it's all they can really do to keep the lap times where they are as they battle this hard. On the way through the S's, Zart will try his best to get the run out of turn 5. Oh, it's so bumpy. And these GT3s are very stiffly sprung, so they tend to not deal too well with tracks that are too bumpy. But Road Atlanta turn 5, you have to use that curb. Yes, indeed. That's a nice wide entry from Vestrala, though, and that's exactly what you need to do in a situation like that. Late apex 10B and get the run through the final corner side by side across the line. They make contact, and Dustin Warren is sent around into the wall. Vestrala's bumper goes bye-bye, and unfortunately, I think the both of them will be unhappy with how that worked out for them. That is the question. Michael Clark has always been the picture of consistency and moving his way up through the field. It's what he's become known for on these broadcasts. Let's see what more he can do here, on the verge of getting into the overall top 10. As we reach 27 minutes remaining on the timer. Nice run out of 10A and 10B. Vestrala's downforce will be suffering slightly, as it looks like a black flag has been given to him, and that is from race control. A 5-second time penalty for the incident with the number 44 of Dustin Warren. Yeah, Clark wasn't able to get the run on Vestrala there. Amrit was a little crossed up over the curb, and now it's going to be the run down the back stretch. Oh, Vestrala again with some issues here over the curbs. Michael Clark will likely take the position, but will Kevin Rosario have the advantage here? Slipstream on the 36. He's going to give him a little bump on the way into the braking zone. How are they going to work this out? Vestrala having to let Michael Clark go there, and Clark immediately moves to the inside to cover. Whoa! Yeah, that was very intense indeed. Quinn Manders not going for pit lane, and he's battling with Hans Brady and Andrew Garov at the moment. As he does it on the way through, Garov round the outside, manages to get it done at turn 1. That would be, no, not Sean Phillips. Yeah, Greg Boyce, who's back out on track now after his incident on the first lap. So he's managed to get back out there. He is now a lap down, though. Not ideal for him. It's unlikely he'll be able to gain much of that time back. To the battle for 7th then, Ben Melik and Kenneth Narvaez. Narvaez just a little bit faster than Melik on the previous lap, and Melik, of course, is our GTD class leader, so he needs to be careful not to have those poor runs into the corners. Dustin Warren picking up a black flag, and I think that was for speeding on pit entry. Yeah, indeed. Very nicely done there for Darwin. He has some excellent clients there. Speed Designs, of course, one of the supporters of the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championships. So, as things stand, I'm looking down through the field to try and find the number 88 that is being mentioned by Doug Sorrentino, but I don't think... there it is. Okay, yes, Amrit Vestrala, who, yeah, unfortunately, was off second best. He's going to have to serve a stop and go now, as it appears there was some further investigation of the incident between himself and Dustin Warren. The contact between them not ideal. Amrit Vestrala, though, has gotten his car repaired after coming into pit lane, so he'll have a clean car to the end as long as he can stay out of trouble. For the moment, the battles are starting to extend out a bit, as we'll get a view once again of that incident between Dustin Warren and Emrit Vestrala. They run through the final corner. It's very difficult to run side by side through there at the best of times, and we've seen what happens when it goes wrong. Rewind a little bit and see. Oh, okay. That's definitely not either of the drivers in question. Oh, yeah. I think we do need to... No, it certainly wasn't. It's just a case of trying to get the run out of the last chicane. And, well, I don't think Dustin Warren was expecting Emrit Vestrala to really go for the inside there. These GT3s, they tend to wash a bit wide in the final corner if you're offline slightly. And so that's the reason side by side is such an issue there. Love that naturally aspirated V10 sound of the Lamborghini. Yes, it's a bit of a dying breed, the naturally aspirated engine in the GT3 class. Of course, the Ford Mustang has a naturally aspirated V8, to my knowledge. But apart from that, it's only really the Lamborghini in this field that has that kind of feeding of air to the engine. Every other car has at least one turbocharger. Bryce Crone driving the Mercedes with a twin-turbo V8 underneath the hood of that one.
Yeah, certainly my apologies there. I sneezed and muted myself so you guys wouldn't hear it, and then proceeded that you didn't deserve the voice for the rest of that a little bit there. So thank you very much to Suter for giving me a heads up indeed. As we got a cheer for Kenny going on as well. I'm going to guess you mean Kevin Rosario, because I'm trying to find another Kenny in the field.
What about Kenneth Narvaez?
That'll do it. Yep, that works.
Narvaez running a strong P8 at the moment, still maintaining the same position he started in. It's been a consistent drive from him. And... well, he's certainly quite competitive in that GTD class. With half the race done, half to go, now is the opportunity to figure out how his strategy is going to go from here. We've been steadily having drivers come into the pits for their mandatory stop. Javi Sierra, the leader of the... No, it's Michael Clark that is the leader of the cars that have pitted, as Pierce Fox is the first from our top 5 to make his way in.
Yeah, certainly it's good to see him making down and doing the undercut. Indeed, I think, you know what? The more I watch these races, certainly the more I start to think that that may indeed be the technique to go. The undercut being surprisingly potent as Kevin Rosario makes his way by. And indeed, it looks like Pierce Fox, one of the early pitters here. Quinn Manders is not yet pit, but Michael Clark has in the box for about 14 seconds. On the longer side, Javi Sierra, just 11.6 seconds. Indeed, Tommy Polte, 11.2. These drivers making a very short dash through the pits.
Yeah, I think they're really running the margins tight on the fuel numbers. It's only a short lap here at Road Atlanta, so they're not in much danger of not fueling the car up enough. You know, of course, this being a timed race, sometimes the race can go a lap longer than you expect, but it's not going to be as much of a huge deal at Road Atlanta with very short lap times of only about a minute and 17 seconds, being the pace at the front of the field. Speaking of the front, Bryce Crone still holding off Alex Zart. And as they come across the line, it looks like Zart gaining a tenth of a second back on Bryce Crone there. But a bit more space between them now. They tried to sort themselves out early on, and Alex Zart was unable to get by, so now I think he's just settled into the rhythm of the first half of this race. Now he'll be planning his run through the pits.
Yeah, the last couple of laps as well, he has indeed taken off time. Almost 2 tenths on 15, 16, it was another 2 tenths, and then indeed not even a full tenth on the last one. So indeed, he's definitely trying, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's working that Lamborghini hard.
Yeah, worked it hard enough to be in the lead of the championship for the last few rounds running. So he's got some great pace in that number 70. And he got some fantastic results in crucial spots when Joshua Wilford was unable to get the results that his pace usually dictates. Next car to come through pit lane was Chris Brassetti. He's just come out behind Pierce Fox, and there's only about a second between the two of them. So I think their battle is going to continue for quite some time. Do either of these guys come into the pit lane on this particular lap? It looks like Zart's going to.
Yeah, certainly fair play to him. I do have to wonder if the undercut is going to be beneficial for him. Bryce Crone choosing to stay out, but Wilford, though, he's made up a 7.5 second lead. But how about fuel, though? He's certainly the highest placed Mustang. Certainly, if we look down through the field, Hans Brady would be the next one. He's in P17, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, I do have to wonder if maybe the Mustang's got a little bit more of a drinking problem, and indeed, it's going to bite him in the long run.
Yes, well, the Mustang has a 5-litre V8, and it certainly does guzzle that fuel. But we see a whole host of cars coming into pit lane now. Pretty much everyone in the back half of the top 10. Zart, Bud, Melik, Narvaez, Rosario, and Williams. Sean Phillips also making his way in after early problems for himself. Michael Pacheco will move into P5. He's going to be going long on this first stint as well.
Certainly some very interesting stuff indeed, ladies and gentlemen, as right now you got to wonder what is emerging. As Ben Melik there making his way out. Indeed, he's going to be surrounded by traffic, as that is Jack Minter that's just made his way by.
Yeah, Minter a lap down as well. Remember, he got a black flag very early on, thanks to the checkup on the way to the start. Joshua Wilford has jumped into the pits meanwhile, as it appears Maxwell Budd has picked up a black flag from his run through pit lane. Getting up to speed, Kevin Rosario, Michael Clark and Javi Sierra making their way past him.
Yeah, it looks like this is starting to get spicy here. So indeed, Michael Pacheco now has got the likes of Alex Zart behind him. Now, Pacheco always want to do one of the late pitters, and indeed, he's going to try and find his way past have Alex Zart find his way past. That could be good for him there. As Bryce Crone comes down pit lane, and we're going to have to see, has it going to pay off? Indeed, Wilton Palermo currently leading the race. Fair play to him. He's managed to make the Porsche go that a little bit longer, but Wilford now, he was 7.5 seconds clear. But what about Zart and Crone? Indeed, as you see him, Zart bring it across the line. Where's Crone going to re-emerge? Indeed, here he goes. He's coming out of pit lane, and it looks like Zart has done it in the pit stop, but only just, ladies and gentlemen, Bryce Crone's going to be right up there behind him.
Yeah, faster pit stop for Alex Zart by 9/10 of a second or so. So the run through pit lane benefiting the Lamborghini. Bryce Crone now will have to fight his way back into the runner-up position. This is going to be an interesting fight to the end. Caution flag is out.
Oh!
It looks like we've had an incident potentially. Not entirely sure. Javi Sierra with a mechanical black flag, and Michael Clark spun on the start-finish straight. I think there's been a coming together there.
Yeah, let's take a look here and see what happened. Here's Michael Clark, and he makes his way around turn one, gets a little bit of a
that's in the
wiggle.
back of Sean Phillips.
Yep, and there's Javi Sierra, gets a little bit of a nudge. And yep, yellow flag, ladies and gentlemen. Oh dear. Good thing for Maxwell Butt,
indeed.
because he's currently serving a black flag. Ooh.
Yes, so Maxwell Budd, that was for speeding on the way out of pit lane, it looks like. Wilton Palermo is going to take the opportunity here to jump into pit lane, but the issue with this is it is an iRacing caution flag. It was triggered by the iRace control system that our race admins use. We will be having the iRace Control Enduro happening on March the 15th, so make sure to tune into Pit Road Productions for that. But the caution that it triggers is an iRacing controlled one with the AI pace car, and it runs to oval caution rules, which means Pit Road gets closed at the start of a caution. That could potentially make things a bit difficult for the drivers that have just come into the pits.
Yeah, that could definitely be some interesting strategy indeed. Indeed, I'm glad I am not race control in this scenario.
Yes, so Sean Phillips has been given a black flag for driving unpredictably. As we saw, Phillips was the car involved in the incident that ultimately resulted in damage for Michael Clark and Javi Sierra. A little bit slow through the final corner and not entirely predictable with where he was going to go. So that's going to be the way things are. It has compressed the field quite a bit. Joshua Wilford, his advantage has been erased.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And indeed, it's this could get interesting as it's not Joshua Wilford at the front of that pack either. That's Dustin Warren.
Yeah, Dustin Warren in 18th place. Apparently the pace car picked him up as the first car in line. I'm sure a wave around will be thrown for him in just a couple of moments, and he'll be able to make his way back around to the rear of the field. So Wilford will still be our race leader here, but now he'll face some pressure. A free kick being given to Alex Zart and Bryce Crone. Michael Pacheco takes the opportunity to move into pit lane.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is actually going to be worse for him pitting at this point, because obviously all the fields starting to come together now. It's going to cost him even harder. It's unfortunate for him. Certainly he was doing well in the McLaren.
Yeah, track position is everything, and if you wait until the middle of a caution period to pit, then you're guaranteed to fall all the way back to the rear of the running order. With only 10.5 minutes remaining on the timer, Pacheco has got an awful lot of work to do. He's managed to come back out in his starting position of 17th.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate there. He worked really hard to find his way up through the field, but I've got to say, Kevin Rosario, Michael Pacheco, and indeed Joshua Wilford, the only drivers in the entire grid who are in the same places where they started. But the hard charger right now, Hans Brady, currently up a astonishing 10 spots.
Yeah, very nicely done for Hans Brady. We'll see then the caution period shortened. We are going green at the end of this lap. So immediately getting the tyres and pressures and such back up for our leaders. The question is, when is Wilford going to go? Because pace car will come into pit lane and it'll only be a couple of moments until the green flag flies again. Start-finish line not too far beyond pit entry, so I think it's going to be pretty much on the start-finish line that Wilford's going to get back up to speed here.
Yeah, indeed it is, and certainly you can see the drivers there. They're not doing the cucaracha, ladies and gentlemen. They are indeed trying to get some heat in the tyres, so they've got to say, I'm mixed feelings about that myself. I do find that since people have started doing that, race starts really not quite been as organised potentially as I'd like to see them.
Yeah. We often see in a lot of our broadcasts here, when there's a rolling start, our leader weaving all the way until the very last moment, which can sometimes cause issues. But it will be a single file restart for this, as the field compresses on the way into the final corner. Pace car into pit lane with 8.5 minutes on the clock. Oh, there's drivers coming in quite quick there. Looks like there's going to be a checkup. Green flag flies, and Joshua Wilford is going to lead us away here. And, well, Maxwell Budd with a black flag to his name as well, which has been cleared by race control. And the race is back on, certainly in the midfield. Quinn Manders facing off against Kevin Rosario there. Rosario gets the move done into turn 3, but looks like no other position changes on the restart.
Yeah, certainly this is a golden opportunity for a driver of the tendencies there, Kevin Rosario. He's definitely a keen racer indeed.
Oh, Zart! Zart! Oh, no, Alex Zart! Through turn 5! Unfortunately, unstable and in the gravel trap. He was trying to get the run on Joshua Wilford, who was having problems through the same turn, but our championship leader has been sent back to 17th.
Oh, dear.
Oh, it's always that. It's such a small mistake to make. It's one that I've made many times, and I certainly feel the pain that Alex Zart will be feeling right now. he was on for the lead of the race, and now he won't get the points that he needs. This is going to really close up the championship coming into the last few rounds. Matt Jones and Hans Brady side by side through the final chicane there, and have a look at the run there from the Mustang. That looks to be Boyce, Greg Boyce, who's in 19th place, but he wants to try and find his way past these guys. It's side by side. Further back, though, it looks like that's Pierce Fox and Chris Bracetti, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Who am I looking at the moment?
I have a feeling it might have been I had a feeling it might have been Kevin Rosario, but I'm actually trying to find him now.
Yeah, it was another BMW. Not entirely sure who. Oh yeah, there up ahead. It's Jay Williams. My apologies. Williams certainly finding a bit of difficulty there behind the Mustang. Alex Zart coming into pit lane for damage repair. No surprise to see that. Yeah, that's just disastrous for our championship leader.
Ali definitely trying to crack me up today. She's currently enjoying the race while eating pizza. Fair play to her. But certainly, I've got to wonder here, because don't get me wrong, Greg Boyce is a lapped car, but he's kind of getting in the middle of this battle at times, and I do have to wonder what would be the correct course of action. Don't get me wrong, he's got pace. He is free to unlap himself. But certainly, as I say that looks like a little bit of a battle going on, as indeed he's got Kevin Rosario trying to make his way by.
Yeah, Rosario. Rosario back to 10th. And I see. Yeah, Hans Brady there, just up ahead of these guys. Rosario getting up the inside of Jay Williams at turn 1 and will move on through. So that's going to be the move done there. As Andrew Garov makes his way back into pit lane, it looks like there was contact for him at some juncture. Boot lid missing from the BMW, and that's the reason why. Big slide.
Definitely an unfortunate night there for the driver of the 05 machine. Let's take a look back up here, though, as Chris Bracetti is currently got the likes of Kevin Navarez right behind him. As you see Navarez there, he's managed to find his way ahead of Ben Mellick. This is a change here in the GTD M class.
Yeah, that it is. Narvaez now to the top. He is right up there in the championship for GTD, so he wants to be there, but looks like Mellick's going to have a go at him here at 10A and 10B. 5 minutes remain in the race, and it's Merck versus Merck again up the inside for Ben Mellick, and the move is done very nicely, but you get the feeling Narvaez is going to keep the pressure up to the very end.
Certainly is indeed. Certainly Navarez has been keen to apply pressure for the majority of the races we've seen him in. But indeed, we got an absolute incredible battle going on back here as well. Chris Bracetti currently leading that pack, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the real street guys, you can certainly tell them in the field, ladies and gentlemen. The hard part is telling them apart from each other. Indeed, the paint a little bit hidden there. But let's have a look a little bit further back here. There's Will Palermo going at it with Quinn Mendes. Oh dear.
Oh, that's a car off. That's one of our BMWs there. Oh, no, it's not. It's not a BMW, it's a Mustang. That is Greg Boyce once again with problems through the S's, and that could have certainly ended worse than it did. Jane Williams managing to escape that. The battle's compressing behind, though. Look at Manders defending from Palermo into turn 6. Oh, and it looks like Palermo's going to get the move done on him. Now Maxwell Budd up the inside. That's a big run in there from Tommy Polte, but he gives it up to Joshua Travis. My God, big contact. Quinn Manders into the wall. Chaos after the safety car, and Maxwell Budd with big damage.
Yeah, he's going to be looking a little bit guilty over that one, but indeed, that was a lot happening in one corner as these guys are still duking it out. Looks like Jack Minton now trying to apply a bit of pressure here. 2-1 on the BMWs. I just having a hard time working out who it is. Greg Boyce is not that car.
No, Greg Boyce is driving a Mustang. So Jack Minter at the moment up behind, I think that may be, I'll have a look. It's Joshua Travis, who's currently in 13th place.
There you go. It looks like Minter's indeed giving a bit of a fight. Indeed, everybody out a bit of order here. Quinn Manders making his way down pit road, but I gotta say, Incredible stuff here. Brassetti, though, currently in P4 overall. That'll be his best result potentially on the cards. Joshua Wilford has been able to control that lead, indeed, be able to keep hold of that as long as he can make it last to the end. Just about 2.5 minutes left to go. But indeed, Kevin Narvaez has got even closer now. These two guys have swapped over yet again. We got a battle here for the GTD class.
Certainly have. Chris Brassetti's starting to drive away from these guys now as they cannot get out of each other's hair. Matt Jones in the sole Acura in the field is probably having a great time looking at this ahead of him. He's gaining time hand over fist on Kenneth Narvaez and Ben Melik. And Melik getting the better run out of 10B, but Narvaez is not going to let him get away with this. It looks like 2 laps to go now for these drivers, so this is where the money is made. Pressure's on, the gloves are off, every single cliche you can think of, it's right here.
Yeah, right now you got to see the arms of Ben Melik are working pretty hard indeed. The driver, the number 55, has got his work out. Kevin Narvaez has been nothing short of a weapon so far this season in a good way, ladies and gentlemen. He's a sharpshooter, able to consistently deliver on the results for the most part. We can see there Melik working hard. Is it going to be enough though? As you see his teammate potentially may be able to help him here. Chris Brassetti is in the GTD Pro class and could potentially offer a little bit of assistance here to Melik should he need it.
Yep. No rule against that kind of teamwork, but it's all about nailing the exit of turn 7. It looks like Melik getting a slightly better run than Narvaez, and Brassetti, oh, that's interesting. Is Brassetti breaking the draft on his own teammate? What's going on there?
He may be trying to let these guys go by. It's hard to say. Indeed, it could go any which way right now, but I can't say that I understand that logic unless he's trying to defend from the pair of them. I mean, that could be my only thought.
Yeah, well, we do have 2 subclasses in this championship, but they are all scored on where they finish overall. So you want to try and preserve every position you can for points. With 1 lap to go now, Chris Brassetti has the pressure on. Our top 3 have broken away from the rest of the field and from each other. Joshua Wilford has jetted away again to a lead of over 2 seconds as we keep our eyes on the GTD lead battle here. Narvaez needs to nail the exit of turn 5, but the entry is arguably more important, and I think that's lost him the chance there.
Yeah, he just got checked up a little bit there for sure, and indeed this could have been the opportunity he was looking for. Are we going to see Melik make a move here on his own teammate Chris Brassetti in the Corvette? As indeed we're getting to the very end of this race. I've got to say, we knew it was going to be exciting. Indeed, you see Joshua Wilford already looking pretty happy with himself there, having a little bit of a dance there on the back straight. I don't think I'll be celebrating just yet, don't get me wrong. That's Anthony Garoff right behind him. Indeed, Anthony, that sounded so serious. Andrew Garoff, my apologies there. It's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen, but right now, Joshua Wilford, he is back there on the top step. It's where we're used to seeing him, and indeed, he's going to bring it across the line for the checkered flag. He led the race in entire, and he braked right at the end now. I can't say I understood that logic, but Bryce Croner almost going in the back of him. I got to say, Wilford better be careful. He may find himself in hot water at race control if he's not careful.
Well, regardless, we'll see Chris Brassetti maintain 4th. Ben Melik wins the GTD class. Excellent job from him. Got that nailed. And, well, Kenneth Narvaez will have to settle for 2nd there. Jay Williams to 10th overall in the BMW there. So, fantastic to see. Looks like they're changes for position in the back half of the top 10, but that's going to work out right for Brady and Williams rounding that out. Jones with 9 positions gained. Very impressive run indeed. Oh dear, looked like a problem for one of the Corvettes there.
Yeah, Tommy Polty getting a bit sideways there at the end. We just want to see if that was a change of position. You were indeed referencing Reese, but certainly, I've got to say, what an absolutely phenomenal race, and certainly I really enjoyed it. I mean, Road Atlanta. I mean, what's not to like?
Absolutely. A fantastic track racing. Alex Zart, our championship leader, last car to cross the line on the lead lap, and so that is going to make our results official from this race. Joshua Wilford having the race he needed. He takes the win by 9/10 of a second in the end from Bryce Crone. Pierce Fox rounding out your top three. Chris Brassetti finishing in fourth, with Ben Mellick winning GTD from Kenneth Narvaez. And it's going to be Matt Jones in P7. Very nicely done from him. Qualifying didn't go too well, but he took advantage in the race. Rosario finishes behind him, with Hans Brady making it into the top 10 with Jay Williams. Some good positions gained from the both of them.
Yeah, certainly Hans Brady, the hard charger of the field, gains 12, and indeed fair play to Matt Jones as well. He gained 11 positions on the day, but have a look at 11. Wilton Palermo took the honours there with Joshua Travis in 12. Tommy Polte in 13th, good result for him, gained 10 positions in that Corvette. Fair play to him. And indeed in 14th we had Dustin Warren. 15th was Quinn Manders with Alex Zart in 16th. Definitely the most unfortunate event there to happen for this race, and indeed the crowd absolutely sympathizing, as indeed did the commentary box. But right now, indeed, Andrew Garov in 17th with Greg Boyce in 18th, Jack Venture 19th, and indeed Sean Phillips rounding out your top 20.
Yes, also a lap down was Maxwell Budd, who unfortunately had that coming together with, I believe, Michael Pacheco or Quinn Manders. No, it was Manders that he made contact with, and ultimately from 4th down to 21st. Not an ideal run for him. Pacheco finishes in 22nd place, with Michael Clark unfortunately ending his race a lap down, having spent some time in the pits. CJ Conklin 2 laps down, then Harvey Sierra and Amrit Vestrala unfortunately retiring from the race. Well, that's quite the difficult race for a lot of drivers, but for Joshua Wilford up the front, it was P1 the whole way through. Joshua, that was the exact race you needed at this point in the championship, with Alex having his issues.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm grateful that I'm grateful on my behalf. I feel bad for Zart, but I mean, at least I can make up a couple points in the championship run. And yeah, it was a good race out there. This track is super fun, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, traffic was a slight issue in the latter stages, as was the caution period that came out. You faced a little bit of pressure from the drivers behind as a result of that, but it would appear that the car was to your liking around this place.
Yeah, it was very nice. I feel like the Mustang is very unstable under the rear, especially under light fuel, but it wasn't anything that I couldn't manage. And yeah, it was a dream to drive. It really handles the curbs well, and yeah, I just went out there and enjoyed myself.
We are going to the Adelaide Street Circuit for the next round of this championship. A circuit that may not be too familiar to most of this field, but plenty of real-life pedigree for that circuit. It's going to be a tough one, being the second street track of the season.
I agree with you, but I'll let you know how I feel about it when I buy the track.
Indeed. I mean, I'm Australian, so my opinion is biased, but I do think Adelaide is one of the best street circuits on the planet, and you're certainly going to have your work cut out for you there, Joshua. Congratulations on the win. Championship lead is certainly looking like a possibility in these final few rounds.
Yes, sir. I'm looking very excited to what's up ahead.
As are we. Thanks very much for joining us, Josh, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
That is Joshua Wilford, our overall race winner. And meanwhile, we are joined by Ben Mellick, who won the GTD class, stood by with Zippy.
Well, certainly, Ben, I go to turn your camera on, and indeed, you turned it off. Certainly, we would have enjoyed that for an interview, subtle hint, but certainly, yourself having an absolutely phenomenal battle there with Kevin Narvaez. It really could have gone either way for certainly, and you know, it was a really good, a really solid fight, but I do have to wonder, Chris Passetti, was he trying to help you or indeed hinder you there? Were you guys two, could it help? Tell us a little bit about that there on the real street side.
No, first of all, camera for some reason keeps freezing on me. It was on, but didn't work. Narvaez and I had a decent battle. I passed him. For some reason, things got a little bit shuffled around on the restart. Not sure it was single file, then went kind of double and got weird. But I passed him again, just kind of waited for my opportunity. And then, Brassetti and I were racing. I had a little bit of pace in certain areas. I was pushing a little hard to try and make him make a mistake, and then I ended up pushing myself a little hard a couple times. So, no, clean battles, fun.
Well, certainly some good battles indeed. Definitely very much enjoyed it, and a good solid points haul for yourself there. Able to get the class win, but certainly we're heading over to Adelaide next week. Certainly, it's not one of the more familiar tracks. Indeed, one of Reese Gardner's personal favourites because it's Australian, ladies and gentlemen. By all means, we'll leave it at that. Yourself, how do you feel about that particular venue?
I actually, since they brought it, I love the track. I actually got all the guys at Real Street to drive it. They were kind of a little hesitant at first. But it is a brutal track. It's like Long Beach, but worse. And you're really going to have to be on your A game and not put it in the wall. So we'll see.
Well, certainly fair play to you. If I was trying to get guys to drive my my home track at Cadwell Park, indeed, if you put a GT3 around there, I have a feeling it would actually take flight going through the final section. But Ben, before we let you go, is there anybody else you'd like to shout out?
Of course, my Real Street team, Real Sim Racing, and Effect Vodka.
Oh, certainly fair play to them. And indeed, the sponsorship all over the cars, ladies and gentlemen. If you fancy a tip, well, by all means, check out what's on these Real Street cars. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for indeed the number 35 and indeed your GTD class winner of Ben Melick.
Thank you, guys.
Lovely stuff from Ben Melick today, and a great battle indeed with Kenneth Narvaez at the end. We bring Bryce Crone into the fold now, finishing second place with a very intense battle with Alex Zart for most of the way through that race, Bryce. I wouldn't blame you for feeling a bit relieved after Zart had his incident late on in the race, but from then on, I'm sure it was a fun battle to have.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually hoping he would put a little bit more pressure on Josh. That way maybe we could try and form a move on him, but ultimately he just ended up walking away with that one.
Yeah, he did, but still a second place finish. And with Zart having a poor finish in the end, that's going to be a massive free kick for just about everybody in the championship. You must be happy with the points haul.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm hoping Adelaide will be a decent run for us. I had almost no grip this race, so I know next week is going to be brutal.
Yeah, indeed, concrete walls much closer at the Adelaide street circuit, but here on the open sweeping turns of Road Atlanta, the Mercedes certainly looked like a pleasure to drive. So we'll see how you go on the way through to next week, and let's see what the results are like at Adelaide. Hopefully, we're speaking to you again.
Absolutely, guys.
Excellent drive from Bryce Crone today. And looks like our final interviewee of the night, Zippy, is going to be Pierce Fox, who finished third overall.
Well, certainly, Pierce, we did hope we'd get to see you back in the interview booth, and fair play to him. You've done him. Certainly going a little bit better for you here in the GTDs, and certainly a good solid race. You didn't really see too much of you, but certainly a little bit of relief when the Lamborghini had a little bit of a detour, I imagine.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. I mean, most of the race, it was just like last race, to where I was just in between people the whole time. Really didn't expect this good of a result, so I'm fairly happy with it.
Well, certainly some good results is always good for your championship standings indeed. Certainly the safety car adding another dynamic there as well. Michael Clark getting involved in an incident yourself. Is there anything you wish you'd done differently had you known the safety car was coming out?
Maybe if I don't know. I don't know if I'd have enough fuel to have gotten to the pits with the safety car. Realistically, there's not really much I think I could have done differently.
Well, certainly, should that safety car come out, you really do want to pit before it, really, or indeed be able to pit it just right. But certainly, if you go when the field is indeed all bunched up, that we certainly saw one or two of the drivers experience, it can be pretty detrimental. But indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the number 24, indeed, of Pierce Fox, absolutely phenomenal result here, P3 overall. Indeed, a good job there by Pierce, and indeed, hopefully, we'll see you back here next week at Adelaide.
Hopefully so.
Yes, indeed. I'm so hyped for next week. It's going to be a fantastic one, Zippy. Already had the pleasure of commentating a few broadcasted races at Adelaide, and every single one of them has been fantastic. Can't wait to see how the TCRs and GT4s handle it, not to mention our fast and furious GT3s. This championship is just continuing to increase in intensity, especially with the championship leader Alex Zart having those problems out of turn 5 tonight. That is going to tighten things up.
Yeah, certainly I do feel bad for him. I really do. It's definitely easily done, and anybody who's ever driven this track, I'm sure at one point has had that same off. And indeed, the Lamborghini known to like a little bit of over rotation on occasion. But ladies and gentlemen, what a show, what an evening, indeed, what an absolute fantastic series we've had the pleasure of commentating here. It's the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship, brought to you by the multiple sponsors. It's Car Bliss, Nixon Power, Motorsport, Speed Designs, and indeed Podium 1 themselves. But my name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth today, the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner, the Southport racer himself. Thank you very much for watching, and indeed hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you at the same time next week for Adelaide.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen,